I never imagined that standing on my own front lawn holding my crying 6-year-old, I'd hear a police officer quietly ask me to prove that my children were actually mine, all because the president of our HOA decided I was a threat. 3 hours later, that same woman would be escorted out of our neighborhood in handcuffs, screaming that she was the real victim. And the worst part is, right up until the very end, she truly believed she was the hero. My name is Emily Carter, and until this happened, I thought living in a quiet HOA neighborhood meant safety order and predictability. Willow Creek Estates looked perfect on paper: neat lawns, white fences, families waving as they walked their dogs. My husband Michael and I bought our house there 5 years ago, right before our second child was born. We followed the rules, paid the dues on time, showed up to community meetings when we could. We kept our heads down. We didn't cause trouble. Our kids, Ryan and Lily, were everything to us. Ryan was 8, curious about everything, the kind of kid who asked questions until you ran out of answers. Lily was 6, shy at first, always holding on to my sleeve until she felt safe. Most afternoons they played on the grass in our front yard while I sat on the porch pretending to check emails, but really just watching them laugh. That's when I first noticed her. Patricia Langford, HOA president. Mid-50s, perfectly styled blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, even on cloudy days. She had this way of standing just a little too still, like she was observing something under a microscope. At first it was small things. She'd slow her car when passing our house. She'd stop and stare while my kids played. Once I caught her holding her phone up, pointed straight at them. I told myself I was being paranoid. HOA presidents were always a little intense. Then one afternoon she walked straight onto my lawn. "I'm documenting," she said before I even had time to ask what she wanted. Documenting what I asked, keeping my voice calm. She tilted her head, eyes scanning my kids. Unusual behavior. Ryan froze. Lily climbed onto my lap. "They're just playing," I said. Patricia smiled, but it wasn't warm. Children who are too quiet, too well behaved. Sometimes that's a red flag. That sentence stuck with me. It didn't make sense. It didn't have to. It was designed to make me uncomfortable. 2 days later I got an email from the HOA. Formal, cold, demanding. They requested proof of residency for my children, birth certificates, guardianship documentation, a deadline of 48 hours. I reread it 3 times, convinced it had to be a mistake. Michael laughed at first. "This is ridiculous. We'll send the documents and be done with it." But when I called the HOA office, Patricia answered. "It's standard procedure," she said. "We take child safety very seriously here." I wanted to argue, to push back, but something about her tone, calm, confident, almost smug, made me hesitate. So, we sent the documents. Birth certificates, school records, everything. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The following Saturday morning, Patricia showed up again. This time, she brought her phone held high, already recording. "I'm live," she announced loudly, as if addressing an invisible audience. "Community transparency is important." I felt my stomach drop. "What are you doing on my property?" I asked. She stepped closer. "Conducting an HOA welfare check." Then she turned toward the street and raised her voice. "I've received multiple concerns about unverified minors residing at this address." That's when the neighbors started coming out. Someone whispered. Someone stared. Someone pulled out their own phone. Ryan grabbed my hand. Lily started crying. I told her to leave. She didn't. Instead, she called the police. When the officers arrived, everything felt unreal, like I was watching my own life through someone else's eyes. Patricia spoke first, confident, rehearsed. "I believe these children may not be legally under her care," she said. "I fear human trafficking." The word hit me like a slap. The officers looked uncomfortable, but they had to follow procedure. They asked for IDs, for documents, for answers. I handed everything over, hands shaking. Michael stood between Patricia and the kids, jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. And still Patricia kept talking. "Fake documents are easy to get," she said. "I've done my research." Then she said the thing that almost broke me. "The children told me they don't know her." Time stopped. "That's a lie," I said, my voice breaking. "You never spoke to them." She turned her phone toward her face. Classic denial. This is exactly how guilty people react. I felt myself shrinking. Not because I was wrong, but because I was exhausted. Because the entire neighborhood was watching. because my daughter was sobbing and my son looked like he might throw up. For the first time, I wondered if fighting back was worth it. Maybe we should move. Maybe we should let it go. Maybe staying quiet would protect my kids more than standing up ever could. One of the officers took Patricia's phone. "Ma'am," he said, "we need to review your footage." Her smile faltered. "Just for a second." Later that week, we filed a formal complaint against the HOA. I didn't know if it would matter. I didn't know if anyone would believe us. But something unexpected happened. The HOA launched an internal investigation. Security footage was pulled, emails reviewed, phone records requested, and the story Patricia had built so carefully began to collapse. The cameras showed her approaching other families, taking photos of their children, making notes, following them. There was no footage of my kids ever speaking to her alone, no proof of anything she claimed. Her phone told an even darker story, hundreds of photos of random children taken over months, live streams framed as community vigilance. When the police dug deeper, they found the truth Patricia never mentioned. She hadn't seen her own grandchildren in years. A restraining order, obsessive behavior, online conspiracy groups, an obsession with proving that other families were dangerous. She wasn't protecting anyone. She was projecting her own loss. The day Patricia was removed as HOA president, she screamed that we had set her up, that the system was corrupt, that she was being punished for caring too much. I watched from my porch as she was escorted out, still filming, still shouting, still convinced she was right. And in that moment I realized something. People like her don't see reality. They see a story they've already decided is true, and everyone else is just a character in it. The HOA sent us a written apology. The police closed the case. All footage was destroyed. There was no celebration, no victory party, just silence. I hugged my kids that night and promised them something, that I would never again stay quiet just to make someone else comfortable. Because the real danger isn't a family minding their own business. It's unchecked power in the hands of someone who thinks they can't possibly be wrong.